So, welcome to today's episode. We've got a really exciting guest, the CEO from Humify.io, Ryan Adams. And Humify.io is all about done-for-you services for coaches who need help with content creation. And for those of you just joining the podcast, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. So if you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth in the DMs and we'll reach out to you. So Ryan, could you please tell everyone a bit about yourself, what your role is at your company, and how you got started in the field?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to
Indeed.
jumping into today's topic. For me, it's always a privilege to be able to talk with people that are, the navigators and the adventurers and explorers in the land of the digital landscape. We know it can be terrifying for some and it can be a great adventure for others. And for myself, it's always been a great adventure. Seen it much of like a story unfolding over time. I remember when I first got started years ago, I never knew that it would take me on these journeys. And with the development of technology, it's just been such an incredible journey as each chapter unfolds, some more challenges, and we've seen that. And that's really how I got started, and really just the curiosity of technology, the curiosity of communicating and marketing, and helping people really discover what they're good at doing and yielding that and monetizing on that. So years ago, when I started Humify for the first time, it actually was a staffing agency, and
And
what
that
we
was
would do
when?
is, yeah, that was actually just recently. We just
Yeah.
changed this recently. We still do those services, but
Okay.
one thing we realize is, as time progresses, we're understanding our gifts and talents. I would say it that way. We're just being able to drill down into to these different types of niches. But when we started the staffing agency, in which we still do, it's one of our offers. But we realized that there was a huge gap between the creatives and managers and the companies hiring those people. And so we saw the need and we saw that the challenges, and we began that, and we started growing our company from one and multiplied one to four, six, and just started, going on up from there into, multiple digits, and understanding that people are in need of really good quality people that are not going to stiff them or leave them hanging. And so that's where really the heart behind Humify came. It was all about people, connecting with people, and building those relationships. And we've had incredible stories as a result of that over time. And as that journey progressed, we realized that we were getting more and more coaches and more consultants and more mentors and agencies that are actually doing that we realized, okay, there's another need here. And so that's how we started. That's how I started. And my role is really to help our team. And we have a wonderful team of people from all over the world,
Mm.
help them understand that we're here to keep things real, personal, even in this massive digital race that we're seeing, but
Right.
just keeping it real and helping strategize. So that's my role. I think there's a lot more in between those.
Oh,
We
yeah.
all business
There
owners
always
and
could be.
CEOs. There's always a little bit more there, but that's the juice of it.
Okay. How big is your team now?
Our team now is running about, I would say, about 45 people now.
Oh, wow.
So, we're growing. We had more at the time. We've kind of, one thing we've really started doing is kind of dialing down on who we choose to work with. I think that's something that we've, in the beginning stages of business, we're quite young. We only have 5 years as a company, 4 years, 4 years and a half as a company. So we started really young. So, to get that kind of that feeling of you got to hire a bunch of people and keep hiring more people. But we realized that, now with the digital age that we're in, and that was like just a few years ago, of seeing so much new technology, we've been able to
Hmm.
really help our team become more efficient. And that doesn't mean we don't hire people, but we just become more efficient, which can help our customers in the long run. So I'm all
Mm.
for technology. I'm all for AI. I'm a huge AI fan. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a big tool these days, and it's definitely here to stay,
Yeah,
not
not
going
going anywhere.
anywhere.
Nope.
So, yeah. All right. Fantastic. And so, what would you say maybe some of the misconceptions are that businesses have when integrating AI into their own growth strategies?
For sure. I think first of all, people need to understand, until we reach the pinnacle point of, maybe AGI, or, even this, the super intelligence, as a lot of people are saying, the
Yeah.
robots leading the way. I actually did a 5 series podcast on that specific topic. Many companies, that's going to come eventually, but it still will never remove the human from the driver's seat, in my personal opinion, in
I
some
think that's a
areas.
key role to maintain.
Yeah, keeping the human touch. And so I think that's the first misconception a lot of people have, is like, I'm just going to push this button and it's going to take care of all of my problems forever. And that's just a huge, that's just a, that just dumb, that really dumbs down the whole vision behind entrepreneurship. It really, I would even say, paralyzes a lot of people, because when they push that button and they don't get the return that they were expecting, it's always, "Oh, well, it's either the machine's fault, or I don't understand this. I don't understand how it works." So I think we have to become more educational and aware of how to utilize these tools as co-pilots, not as
Mhm.
exchangers of like using common sense or actual work ethics.
Sure, sure. And so maybe when you've hit some of these organizational barriers in your own company, or seen some of your coworkers, your employees, et cetera, hit these
Mhm.
barriers, especially involved with AI, right? How
Yep.
have you addressed those?
Well, first I always reverse engineer. I'm a huge, I would say, advocate of reverse engineering problems, and so really understanding the root of the cause, the kind of the nuances behind like how this is affecting their work, in the sense of, is it like a time management issue? Is it a technical issue? Like, there's so many things, because we utilize AI so much
Yeah.
nowadays, from generative AI to other forms of, automation, like using make.com, or I think it's one of the main ones we use.
Okay.
So utilizing these tools, and so when we see that people are hitting these barriers, what we always try to do is reverse engineer it and understand like what is it that they're hitting, and why is it? Because one thing I've actually noticed real quick is, in the in the advancement of technology, yes, the machines are getting faster, but people are getting slower. And it's interesting,
Hmm.
because I've noticed a lot of people, when they don't know how to utilize AI tools, it actually takes them more time to do than if they were just to do it themselves. Like, I'm saying, like, maybe you go editing a video and they're like trying to do all these prompts, but they don't know how to do the prompts. And so like they're just like wasting credits, or they're wasting time. It's like, if you
Right.
actually knew how to, the formula and the foundation, that's why we reverse engineer it and go and find that first before we move forward. So that's kind of our methodology of what we do.
I see. Yeah. So that takes some in-house training of your people so that they're training the agents and stuff correctly, it sounds like. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would definitely say that. I think you just have to understand how the machine works. I think you have to understand what you need to understand, how it works, and what is your ultimate goal, and then kind of work, or have those workarounds in the in betweens. It's a
Hmm.
journey. I think, again, a
Hmm.
lot of people don't know how to communicate with these AI tools. And
Hmm.
so as a result of that, they're wasting time, they're not getting the results they want. And then they get frustrated, and maybe they just look for someone else to take care of all their things. And that's great for the person that has that business, but at the same time, I think they have to do due diligence with the tools that they have. That's just my personal opinion.
And are you speaking mostly about in-house stuff, or are you also including the customer interactions? Like, how do you, in regards to the customer interactions, I guess I'm asking about is, how do you have them balance the use of your guys' AI solutions for them with also your guys' specific human interactions?
I mean, I would say, I mean, that's actually something I was actually literally just thinking about today. I was actually just thinking about how to integrate these, like, integrate these kinds of solutions, because we have like these tools that we're using. Sometimes the clients don't know how to use them. I don't really know. I mean, that we
Hmm.
haven't come to that point yet per se, where we're like having to hold on really quick. Like,
That will be 100%.
our customers, talking more so our internal team. You're talking
Yeah.
about the customers that we have?
Yeah, so it sounded like you were speaking a lot there about your internal team, and then
Yep.
switching to the customer interaction side.
Mhm.
What is the balance with that relationship in
Yeah.
regards to how much of it is an AI interaction and how much of it is a human interaction when you're
Oh, for sure.
fulfilling the services?
For sure. I would say because a majority of the AI interaction that we have, like where the customer is like we don't use a lot of AI like communication tools during the customer experience because we do consulting for these coaches for like a 3 month consulting. And we also do like with staffing, we empower our team to use tools. But like for the customers themselves, I would definitely say like we use a lot of those tools for like when we're trying to onboard or like when we're trying to get customers. So, like,
Okay,
make
like in
their
lead
AI
acquisition.
bot. Yeah, lead
Yeah.
acquisition, like bots and stuff like this. But that's the most that we use for customers. So I wouldn't say that like we have a huge problem with helping with customers not understanding how to use the tools or that we have. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't even
Okay.
thought about that actually.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure of like how much of your product is where the user takes something that's AI of yours and
Mhm.
generates content that way, or is it much more of like a consulting program where they're working with one of your reps
Mhm.
and they're helping the client come up with ways to create
Yeah.
their content organically?
Yeah. So how our process works is that we do the consulting, we open their eyes to all of the tools that we have. The tools are out there using AI. We don't like keep those things quiet. We actually like to empower the coach and understand the different tools that they can utilize. And then we do show them sometimes how to use those tools. A lot of these people sometimes don't have the time to do that. That's where we come in. Like we can do it with you or do it for you. And so that's where that comes in, that the AI component where we will create the content for them. Or we do have some softwares that we've developed that will help them like ideate and help them understand and create beyond just using ChatGPT or something like that.
Right. Got it. And do you find yourselves confronted with any sort of compliance issues?
For sure. I would say for sure. I would
How
definitely
so?
say that it's something, especially in Europe. I mean, Europe is tethered with
Yeah.
this AI problem of like, especially with like lead acquisition or like conversing with people. We have a software that we've developed that actually does this, that will, communicate with people and talk with people. But even with that aspect, it is at times challenging because people have this, I would say a lot of people have this mistrust for AI. They have a
Mm,
mistrust in the communication,
I think so. Yeah.
giving it the right response, like, it understands what you actually need. We've done, like, sales calls using AI, and it doesn't really work too well. It's not an impossible task to do. Like, I understand the technologies there using 11 labs and stuff like this to have it
Hmm.
more natural. But again, with the compliance issues, we've for example, we were working in Finland, we had these issues as well with the compliance because you're supposed to state, that you are an AI bot. And when you're
Sure.
doing something that, like, if you get a call out of nowhere and said, like, "Oh, I'm an AI like, AI bot," then they just disqualify immediately, especially if you're working with like investment or working with these kinds of things. Oh, you just have to be like we've worked around, have some workarounds with that of like how to use the vocabulary in the right way that's not misleading. But definitely it's something that we run into with the compliance, especially with utilizing these types of tools for lead acquisition, specifically lead acquisition for our customers. We help them get leads and stuff like that.
Sure. Sure. And can you speak to about actual tools that you employ to do the lead acquisition for them and or you?
Yeah, like I said, it's a tool that we created, so we built from the ground up that we have, the technology that we have. So we built that from scratch. But there's other tools out there that you can utilize, make.com mixed with Apollo, mixed with Lab. Like, there's these
Yeah.
makeshift automation tools that you can build and they're incredible. They can be definitely expensive if you're using it at mass scale. But, things like Go High Level, 11 Labs, Make.com, these are tools we were utilizing before we embarked on creating our own solution.
Yeah. You brought it
And
in house and use it for
yeah, we brought
yourself,
it in-house.
and then your clients can use it as well.
Our clients don't use it,
Oh,
so
they
it's
don't.
something that we just no, it's just something that we do. We haven't thought about bringing it like, selling it to other people. I think because the results that we get I think we just love the human touch. I think that's what's coming as well. It's still going to be this hybrid between human touch and technology. And so we try to keep it where, we do have that human touch. That's why the consulting for us is so important, and helping them build their vision and employ their vision in the right way, and by utilizing the tools that we have. And we're always welcoming new technology. We're huge fans of adapting new technology.
Hmm.
If there's people that are doing it better than we are, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll use it. If it's better than ours, then we'll
Yeah.
use it.
Bring it on. Do
I
you
love
see
it.
any
Yeah.
gaps in it right now that you're working on to optimize it anymore?
I would definitely say it's that human touch. I think
Yeah.
it's always back to that human touch. AI has a difficulty with empathy. It has difficulty with other aspects. So those are things we're always going to be running into. I've seen in testing it and utilizing it. So sometimes when we push the pedal a little bit too fast and allowing AI too much control, we have seen that it, not that it doesn't hallucinate. The hallucination is not the problem. It's more so just the lack of soul, and that's where the human
Mm.
has to come back in and kind of take the wheel. And so you can automate all day and use AI all day, but it still doesn't have soul. And that soul, or the empathy and the human feeling and touch, is something that will never AI will never be able to touch. That's something that separates humanity from machine. And so that's just my personal belief. And that's something that we're always like huge advocates of technology and huge advocates of utilizing these AI tools. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we're always staying in control. Always. And
Yeah.
that's something that we've realized and say, okay, wait, there's times we have to decelerate and come back in, and we take the wheel,
Hmm.
and then per se. So yeah.
Yeah. I shared with someone yesterday about a story where I heard where there's a therapist practitioner and he's got AI working alongside of him as he's actually doing behavioral practice sessions with clients. And
Yep.
so there's where he's obviously delivering his services as a human to human, but he's
Mhm.
utilizing the AI simultaneously.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
they're like listening in on the call and then maybe giving him suggestions of, some research from the past to draw on, or even could be like a question to ask, the patient sort of thing. And I think that that's an example of how, that's the epitome of using AI
Oh
alongside and
yeah.
being that like real time interaction, using AI at its strengths and not just relying on it. But then even so that's maybe like he's 85% human in his delivery and 15% AI, right? But then
Exactly.
for the services that are out there where maybe that's flipped, it's still incredibly important. It's almost like that 15% human is more relevant
Oh,
than the
hands down.
85, because like the 85 is the data and a massive shortcut, but making those connections and having that empathy, as you said, like that's where the real growth happens on whatever the service is.
Hands down. Right now, we're about to launch, and this is something completely separate from Humify, but we're about to
Uh-huh.
launch. We're going to be beta testing in Brazil, and then we'll roll out to other countries here in the next few months. And that's exactly what we've created, is a real-time co-pilot, and basically it
Yeah.
listens. It's for men's mental health, because there's a lot of men that are dealing with deep depression and they don't know who to go to.
Indeed.
So we've developed this software, or this app, that basically has now live data. It's listening, it's intelligent, it's pulling from rich resources, verified resources, and it's also connecting with partners that we have, selling consulting and coaching and mentoring. And these are kinds of technologies that are so vital and so important, because when AI and human come together for these kinds of initiatives, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. And that's how I see it, as a co-pilot, and
Mm.
being able to
Yeah, I like
utilize
that.
these real-time data it's so essential. And I believe that's exactly where we're going. And I think even, I watched an interview the other day from it was like Oprah and the gentleman from the, what's his name? Sam Alton, the
Sam
CEO of,
Altman, yeah, the CEO of OpenAI. Yeah.
and he was talking, and Oprah asked him, was like, like, what's gonna look like in 5 years? And he was almost like kind of taken back. And he knows certain things that he's not.
Yeah,
And
100%.
but it's interesting because it's like he's always saying the same thing. It's always like, it's human and AI working together, and I think that's ultimately where we're going to have to just really settle and say, it's going to get to a time where it's 15% and the other percentage is AI. And we have to be okay with it and understand that 15% is what really makes the whole difference at the end of the day. And that's how we build our company. That's
Mm.
how we're building our technologies, because we know that we can't run from it. So we just have to embrace it and do the best we can, and keep the soul in it as much as possible in everything that we do in business and technology.
Indeed, yes. And so as you've built out what you have now and as you're building out what you're talking about with the Copilot, what lessons have you learned when in using the AI, okay, that you've hit some
Right.
challenges around it?
I mean, and like, what are some of the challenges, like some of the things that we've seen, like in utilizing these tools?
Yeah, like maybe if you could give a case example of a challenge that you hit, right? And
Yeah.
then either how you overcame it or how you are
Yeah.
overcoming it and lessons learned around that.
Yeah, for sure. Without disclosing too much information, I think just a basic one, and I think a lot of developers have seen this, and a lot of, entrepreneurs have seen it when they're working with technology of this sort, is number one, is the machine, is the output to like what you're looking for, is there's no pushback. And that's something that separates
Right.
humans from machines, right? Because when you're working with these specifically, let's just use like OpenAI GPT. Like it's like a dopamine, it's like a dopamine doser, right? Like you're gonna get a lot of dopamine from the machine because it's your best friend. It's like telling you, yeah, you're great. Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Like that's phenomenal. I never heard, the other day it called me bro. I was like, why are you calling me bro now? Like,
Right.
when did we get to that level? Like, who said you could call me bro out of nowhere? Right? It's like, oh hey bro. I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting really weird.
Right. You
But
gotta
like
retrain
that's
that sucker.
yeah, let's go back into that. But like one thing that we've seen in developing and looking and going on this adventure is really um when it there's no pushback, like, and that's something that's like it's almost a little too soft. And so it's like that's the challenge, when to be soft, when, like, I'll give you an example. They say like love is hard, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes there's called hard love, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And some
especially
people
back in
can,
like the 80s, 90s compared to,
yeah, yeah, like,
the
yeah, well,
past 10 years.
yeah, yeah. So like the difference of like our generation of like how they interpret that, it's definitely changed, and that's human behavior. So with the machine, it's difficult, and that's the challenges that we faced of like it's too soft when it should be a little hard. It's not as aggressive, or it's way too aggressive. And so these are components of that kind of blow the mind of like, well, that's like Pandora's box, that like, well, some people interpret hard conversations different than others. So they
Mm.
label that as hard and others people don't. So like, do you get the difficulty of that?
That's
Like,
the dance.
that's the dance, right? And so, because
Yeah.
human beings are different, even though they're very pattern driven. So that's the first one. And then the second one that we've definitely seen is like loops. And like,
Mm.
if you don't have proper things in place, like guardrails, and Sam's always talking about this. I say Sam like he's my best friend, right? Like the
Yeah,
people
bro.
looking out. Yeah, this guy. The very guy who said bro, he probably jumped in and said bro there at that moment. But it was interesting because he's always saying that, it's like these loops, it gets caught into this loop. So if you don't give it guardrails,
Yeah.
then if you don't give it like proper guardrails of like not just of where it should go, but in the case it gets stuck in the corner, AI will sometimes run around like a dog with chasing its tail, and it's really hard to get out of that loop. So those are some challenges that we face of like how to get the technology out of this loop. What are parameters that you give it? And we don't go that deep in technology with Humify, but we definitely study it. But specifically with like the software, the app that we're building for men's mental health, it's called Beacon. That is what we're really exploring. But I know that those things trickle down into all markets, because everyone's looking for these solutions to like enhance, hyperdrive their company, right?
Mhm.
So yeah. We do a lot of research. I do a lot of back research. So we may look like just a simple, like, oh, we do coaching, coaching content or staffing. But like, if you're a smart entrepreneur, if you're going to be someone that's going to be relevant, you have to be studying about AI. You have to be
Oh, yeah.
studying about, and then have relationships with people like you who are developing things or developing softwares or solutions. We have to partner together.
Mhm. Mhm. And how have you been measuring success along the way, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, we're huge on the KPIs. We definitely use these as indicators. There's a book that I love. I'm not like affiliate at all with this book. They don't even know who I am, but
Yeah.
it's called Traction. I don't know if you
I'm
ever,
sorry,
it's
it's
a
called what?
Traction, the
Traction.
iOS system.
Uh-huh.
And they're all about like KPIs, like developing these KPIs and like tracking them, right? And so that's something that we do is we build it in first, we do it in a human level. Okay, that's really important because it's interesting because that's another issue is like AI, say AI a lot, but like these different types of technologies and algorithms and whatnot, they sometimes interpret success different than what a human being would as well. So those are other things that we have to like balance out. So that's something that we've put in play, that we're always using technology to develop KPIs and understand like what's working, what's not working, analyze, we go back, we do the feedback loop. But then we also like talk about it from a real human perspective and sometimes just close our eyes to the data and say, okay, like how did this really resonate with our customers? Or how did it really resonate with us as a person? I'm not trying to get all like spiritual and like tree hugger kind of style status, but that's
Hmm.
true. Like we have to kind of get back to the human roots. So we do both. We're very
Hmm.
balanced in that area, but we do develop these systems of like analyzing what works and then analyzing what doesn't. So we use dashboards. We use, automate like where it's giving us data from different automation sources, pulling different data points to give us metrics and stuff like this.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what we do.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. You're pulling from various sources. You've got a dashboard. It's built up on the KPIs that you've found to be relevant, so to accelerate your growth.
Exactly.
It's
And
kind
then
of
we
all in one
sometimes will
place.
take those things and give it back to AI. And, we don't just use ChatGPT, but we have some other things that we kind of, we like to like makeshift some things sometimes. And so we built things like, even using like WhatsApp, like, make.com or, where like you talk to WhatsApp and, it kind of gives back you some cool things that we give it from
Hmm.
like meetings that we have built, like little mini LLMs, like these kinds of things. So just playing around, but yeah, we just play with it and have a good time. It kind
Yeah.
of makes our operations manager
It's
crazy
fun to
at
play
times.
with, and if you're able to turn it into effective business use solutions for your guys, then that's what it's
Yeah,
really all about, right? So that you're utilizing your time and being efficient as much as possible.
for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes CEOs are the kind of the crazy ones that are like the mad scientists, and then the COOs come in are like, stop wasting time, stop wasting resources. So they're like, like stop doing it. But it is really important to utilize it for, production and for ideation and stuff like that.
And so do you see any trends developing over, I'm going to shorten what I would normally ask, about 5 years, and now I'm going to say maybe within the next 2 to 3 years, any emerging AI trends in general that you think are going to be, the ones with the most impact on businesses and how business has grown?
Yeah, man, I was looking at a list the other day. Let me pull it up because someone shared it to me, and so like didn't come from me,
Yeah, well, you
but I
look for
thought I
that. I
was
mean, like an example I could give is just, there's so many things around like all of the agentic stuff, right? And
yeah,
from, the local businesses and putting on a voice receptionist for them, right?
yeah.
All of those AI agents kind of are certainly a trend now. You see those across the board as trending, with on places like Upwork or Fiverr and that sort of stuff. So do you see any other trends that,
Yeah.
may be affecting business growth?
One thing that immediately comes to my mind, because as an entrepreneur or as a leader of a company, I believe there's going to be this. I don't know if it exists yet, and if someone listens to this and goes takes it, that's awesome. It doesn't bother me, but like I think it's really cool to have a technology that's trending of the like an AI tool that pushes back. Like an
Mm,
AI tool that pushes back, because what's lacking in a lot, the trend that I'm seeing is because we live in such a yes generation, and this like AI that's like just like this dopamine and making you feel good, but like something that's really going to push back
mm,
and really do critical analysis on your day to day tasks. So like you say, okay, well, I'm taking this meeting and da, 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 and it kind of pushes back and say, well, I've noticed, it's like, it's intelligent where it's like, I've noticed that you've been taking this call, but it hasn't been, has it, and asking questions and probing. And that might irritate some people, but I think the trend I want to see move forward is where AI is starting to challenge the decisions that leaders make in a good way, not
Mm,
a bad, not like Terminator status, but like, because it goes from like generating ideas, because right now we're in like a generation of ideas,
right,
content,
right.
content,
Info,
content,
info.
info. But what happens when it comes back and says, before you give me one more task to do, let's analyze what you've been doing for 7 days and really see if it's actually been working properly. And let's rethink about the process. That is something I'm starting to see, that I would see as a trend moving forward, where people are starting to develop in that way, where AI pushes back. It doesn't just go with the flow. Does that make sense?
Oh,
That's something that
yeah.
and I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if it's
think
going to
that's
happen or not, but that's
fantastic.
something I foresee. I definitely foresee.
Yeah. And I think there's the reverse of that too. It goes back to a little bit before of how like you were talking about giving the AI guardrails,
Yep.
and you can also, I don't know if it was Sam Altman, but it was someone, kind of on his level or what have you, saying that like you can threaten AI. Have you heard that one?
Yeah, I've heard this. I've threatened it a few times to see what it does.
Have you? I haven't tried that yet. Yeah, because the fear there being like, if these things ever get sentient, then you're really screwed. So it's the kind of the balance of like, you want to be personal, you want to thank them, you want to say please and that sort of stuff, but to hold their feet to the fire, right? Where it's like,
Exactly.
hey, if you don't come up with something better, I'm going to put you on a server farm and sell you to the Russians,
Yeah,
right?
that's that. Yeah, we're
Stuff
doing
like
some
that. And
blackmail.
so like, threaten it to try to like tweak it more sort of thing, but then reversing it and where like it's coming up with challenging things. And when you said that, that made me think of, like Steve Jobs and how he was very, very all about signal, signal, signal and ignoring the
Yeah,
noise.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw
And
that.
so
Yeah,
like if there could be an AI that like
up the
you and
noise.
I are giving the idea out to
I
someone where
know. Bleep it out.
it's thick. It's an agentic AI, right? Like, have at it, devs. Like, where it has all of your workflow, or even just a section of it, right? But it knows that
Critical
your
analysis.
success is by hitting these, three things, and all the rest is noise. And anytime it would be like a reminder, right, of
Yeah.
staying on that signal.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an incredible idea. So that's kind of the trend that I would like to see, but we obviously don't know what's coming. We don't
Yeah,
know. We know that what these guys are cooking up in the labs are probably far greater than we
so
could ever comprehend.
yeah,
But you know, I was looking at a list here. You have like organizing life, finding purpose, enhanced learning, generating code. We already saw that with Lovable, generating ideas. And that's obviously you could see ChatGPT and many others. Fun. There's like improving code, creativity, healthy living. So these are like different things that we're starting to see as like, the shifts, like, from like just technical, now it's becoming more personal. And that's that push, right? To like
hmm
super intelligence. And that's what
hmm
Sam keeps talking about over and over. Like I was listening to another podcast of his of like where it's just going to be this fun, like this new, like the brink of a new era of like really machines becoming companions. And that's kind of
yeah,
scary, especially when again, all it gives you is positivity and it doesn't give you critical analysis, because that's like something that only humans at the moment can really only do. Like only like I'm married, so like my wife, she'll take data that we've been married for 13 years, so she
congrats.
knows me.
Yeah,
And thank you. So she knows me. And so like she'll process data and then like because she knows me, she's going to give me the information that sometimes I do not want to hear. And
right.
that's because ultimately
Because
because
she
she
cares for you.
loves, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She loves me. She cares about me. So that component is a very tricky thing because how do you give guardrails to like genuine care?
Mm,
So, but you can do it if there's enough data, but that's the thing. It's like this Pandora's box, but I'm really excited to see where it goes.
mhm.
And I really want to be there. I want to be involved. That's why I always encourage entrepreneurs to
Mhm.
invest in technology, invest in learning, invest in people who are trying out. And I'll also just say this. I don't know exactly like all of the details of maybe what you already created or what what you're going to create. But like, I would encourage anybody watching this that's an entrepreneur, anybody that will watch this, is even if there's a tech that doesn't seem like it's all put together, if you have like a good feeling about it, like invest into it. Like, and maybe you're an early adapter, maybe you're an investor, because like that is what we need more of. We need more of that happening rather than just letting one, two, three people do all of the development and do all of, does that make sense? Like, so
It
I'm a
does.
huge advocate of that.
Yeah. And so that's a great suggestion for someone that's maybe already slightly inclined to embracing it. Yeah. And what about for those that are a little bit more hesitant? What advice would you offer to them about adopting the AI techs?
Watch this
Yeah.
podcast and watch the other podcasts of Mark. I would say definitely, start small. So like if you start small, take baby steps. And so if it first starts with like understanding it by, subscribing to that's how I started, right?
Mm.
Like I start listening to, I think it's called Deep Mind. There's a podcast called Deep Mind.
Okay.
Yeah, Deep Mind podcast. And I was like multiple years ago, I was listening, they were talking about things that are already happening now. So they obviously had clear insight.
Oh, wow.
They're very intelligent and yeah, very intelligent individuals. And so like I started that way. So that starts there it's free. But then like it takes that time where as an entrepreneur, you have to take steps, risks. So you got to like take risks. And so when you start investing into technology, like start small. Like you don't got to go develop a new app. Like maybe like start somewhere where someone's already doing it. And so like work with them and have them work with you. So like there's a million things you could be doing. Like if it's a tool for your business, then I would say like test it out. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like test it out for a month. If it doesn't work, then move on. But if it
Mm-hmm.
does, give it a chance or put these parameters. And we always do this. And you're starting to see it as a trend now of like people budgeting out for AI tech stack, right? Budgeting out for AI innovation. And now you have like these chief AI officers and stuff like this.
I know that CAIO was not even a thing a few years ago, you know?
I know. And these guys are just getting information from probably ChatGPT about the next trend. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. But whatever, how that works. But it's interesting. So I would definitely say like invest into small and start big and then
Yeah.
just keep moving forward and don't be afraid. I think it's almost like it's happening either way. So just jump on, if
Yeah.
Terminator takes, if it becomes like the robots take it over, well, it is what it is. We kind of had it coming anyway. So I'm joking. But I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I mean that's another can of worms that could be opened, right? And like
Yeah.
just the idea of like the
The
pessimism versus
conspiracy
the
theory.
optimism around it. And yeah, I'm always like, glass half full, glass half empty. I mean, it doesn't matter, if it's half empty, a quarter empty, like just put more
There's
water in
still
it, dude.
something in it. There's still something in it.
There's still something in it as well. Yeah, and then just put more in it. Awesome.
Yes.
Hey, well, Ryan, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate your time. Could you share your website and any other contact information, et cetera, so that people can get in touch with your company, get in touch with you, and, maybe prior to that, just any sort of closings or other suggestions, comments, anything like that you'd like to share?
For sure. First and foremost, thank you for the invitation. And once again, I do appreciate it. I love talking about these kinds of things. I think it's something that we need to have more of. We need to be opening up these conversations and not just leave it for the select few, or we need to, everyone at every level needs to be talking about these kinds of subjects and searching. So thank you for being willing and to do this and invite me to be a part of this. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank
But
you.
anybody that wants to reach out to me, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. So it's just Hey Ryan Adams. That's Hey Ryan Adams. Like that's the handle. So it's
Yeah.
all that. If you want to reach out to us from our company, like if you're interested in getting some consulting, that's we're more than available and more than ready. We take a select few amount of people every year, but we're more than willing to get on a call and talk with you. So you can visit humify.io. That's pretty much it. And for those that are interested in what we're doing for Beacon, that's beacon.help. That's basically an app that we're doing for men's mental health. And it's also technology related and helping people. We want to help as many people as we can. That's the point
I
of
love
doing
it.
business.
Yeah, that's definitely a fantastic secondary service that you guys are putting out there.
Thank you so much. And last words is don't ever take the soul out of your company. Only you can do what you can do best. AI don't won't replace that. That's why you start a business in the first place. See AI as a co-pilot, and as long as you do that, I think you're going to have a really incredible journey using technology. And that would be my last words for anybody that's watching this that's kind of on the fence of, I don't know if I should be utilizing AI, if should be utilizing these tools. I would definitely say just jump in. Let's go.
Very good. Yeah, jump in, dip your toe in, jump in, whatever. Just make that forward process or
There
progress
it
and
is.
raise your hand and yeah, be on stuff like this and be on other podcasts and check out, go to YouTube for 15 minutes
Yep.
before you go to sleep.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
That's
Ryan,
wonderful.
thanks again. This has been fantastic. We'll include all of those handles and websites, etc., in the show notes so
Wonderful.
that people can reach out to you and
Awesome.
to your team there at Humify. So appreciate it so much, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Have a great day, Mark. Bye.
Alrighty, you too. Bye bye. All right. Well, that
Awesome.
was great, Ryan.
Well, thank you, Mark. Sorry about that middle part where I messed up, but hopefully you can just splice that out and
Yeah, of
pick it back
course.
up.
Yep, that's what
I
Riverside's
try to
all
always
about,
do
and
it
my
all the way
VA.
through.
Yeah, and it's a real person VA too, so don't worry.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, what do you guys do? What is your offer? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is this a podcast you're doing for a specific reason? Or are you like, yeah, I'm interested. I'm curious now how you found me and what's the purpose behind this?
Yeah, 100%. So it's kind of threefold. One is it's to help the public in general learn more about AI. So just like you spoke about there, sort of at the end of like for people that are wanting to learn, right? And so I've already spoken with people that are using it from so many different industries. And so just having people think of like, how could AI be useful for them in their industry and how it could help accelerate their growth. Right.
Perfect.
And then, so that's from like the audience point of view. And then also, of course, all about the guest's view on it. And so specifically, like, how are they using it? And right. And what are the services that they're getting out there? So helping you with both of those. And on a personal note, I'd love to, as you're beta testing still, I guess the second one with Beacon you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a personal background in some of those issues.
Okay.
Maybe a beta tester there or whatever,
Yeah.
or user. But yeah, just know that that's out there. The way that this came about is also to just create for my business the content creation so that then it can go out and like we'll send you, the full
Yeah. Show
copy and
marketing. Yeah.
clips and then you can post it out. I do that. So for like the content creation sort of thing and to have that be
That's
that
awesome.
organic piece of content creation,
It's the best kind of content out
it's
there.
100% the best. And so to be able to use that in the social media splash, if you will, but then also to use it as a potential for lead gen
That's
myself.
awesome.
And so if I see that there's a connection with someone like you that needs help in either their lead acquisition or their branding, so to see if there's a match there about how to help them out and then tailor it so that it's a full growth plan and partner. It's not about like, delivering this tech of whatever it might be, and then you
Yeah.
guys use it and then see you later. It's more like, what is the service going to do for you so that you're hitting your KPIs, on a higher level and it becomes a growth partner for like a year as opposed to just whatever, putting in that voice AI agent, plugging that phone number on the website, and it's like a product that's just done.
That's good. Yeah.
So,
I think there's worth definitely like we can have a call together to see, because one thing that we're doing with Humify, as I had mentioned to you, is like the consulting, because I've been doing this for such a long time and I just am very passionate about helping coaches, mentors, and consultants like really scale their business as like a business and then building infrastructure behind it. And so one thing that we could definitely talk about is like doing some partnerships, because I want to start creating relationships with other companies that do these kinds of services. So like I don't want to necessarily do them, but like have partnerships with people that do them and like basically funnel. So if like I want to maybe we have to get on a call. We could talk. We kind of see the nuances of what your offer is and what we do, and see maybe if there's some synergy there. maybe there's, maybe not. I don't know, but we definitely worth looking into
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you want to pick a time right now then?
Yeah, that'd be fine. We can do that. Do you have like a calendar link? I mean, I guess I could tell you right here. Let me open my. I mean, we could do, if you want to jump on a call like Friday, we can do. We can jump on a call next week as well.
Friday
Like
morning. My afternoon is booked with a couple more of these and other stuff.
cool, cool.
So for
I'm in.
me, Pacific time, anything between in the morning of Pacific between 8 and 12. I don't know how many hours were different.
Yeah, let me. I have a clock thing here. So you're in Los Angeles. You said at what time? 8.
Between 8 and noon.
Let's do that. That's 4 p.m. Can we do 8 a.m.? Is that good for you?
100%.
No, my apology. I have a meeting there. So can we do 5 p.m.? Does that work for you?
5.
5 p.m. 5 p.m. is 9 a.m. your time. Let me check.
Yeah.
I think it's 9 a.m. your time.
Yeah.
Send me a link. We can just chat for a few minutes and see if there's some synergy there.
Yep. I would love to. I'd be honored to.
Your website. What is your website? Because I went to go. Is it Strativa?
Yeah,
What is
there's a
this?
glitch right now. It's not up.
Okay, yeah, okay, so you have it on here for,
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
Lovable?
Yeah, it's being built out on Lovable, and then I'm going to
Cool.
switch it into GHL actually. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah, big, heavy user of it. Oh, and that makes me think, if you're open to a little feedback on your website.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Give it to me, man.
so on both browsers, like on Chrome and Safari, I had the experience. So this is around your little video piece of talking about you and your services. You know how you've got that little video widget?
Yeah, I literally just changed the website today. Like it's done. That's no longer there.
Oh, that's
It's
gone.
completely new. It's
Okay,
all gone.
because on all of those there was a lag, and then on my phone it wasn't even like actually playing and coming up. But if it's gone, then dude, man, how did you, bro?
Threw it out the
How did
window.
you know that?
I just threw it out the window. I perceived that my website sucked. I'm joking. No, I just literally changed the whole thing. So if you're curious, you go back to it and see Humify.io. We changed the whole thing. So,
Oh, there
but
you
yeah,
go.
thank you for the feedback. I love it. I really, really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it.
By all means, yeah. Any feedback for me on this? I mean, you're the
Dude.
Riverside pro.
Yeah, I love it. No, I love it. I love it was for some good feedback, is very like very natural. I think that's something that's really missing a lot, is just like the natural conversation. And I love it. So for me, I had a lot of fun talking. So you were very warm. I felt comfortable around like talking to you. So I think that for me, that's a huge component.
Thank you.
Because in the doing like digital recording, like podcast recording, can be very difficult for people sometimes. And so if you make them feel comfortable, that changes the whole environment. So I just appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to seeing your website. So whenever that's up, dude, hit me up. I
Yeah,
want
I
to
will.
see it.
I
want to
will
see
for
it.
sure. Okay,
Cool, man.
great. Well, yeah, I'll have Rekha go to work on editing this, and she'll first edit out those pieces, and then we'll get it over to you so you could be like, yay, nay, and then we'll get you the refined version and the clips that you could share.
Yeah, you don't have to send me the revision if you
Oh,
want to
okay.
move quicker. You don't have to, because there's nothing in there that I didn't feel. It was just that one part right there.
Yeah.
So you don't need to send it to me
Okay.
unless you feel, if you like, I don't want to mess with your processes and systems. So whatever you feel more comfortable with.
I
Okay.
hear you. Okay. Yeah, we'll be sure to take care of that then, and then send you the final version and the clips so you could share.
Looking forward to it, man. I definitely will share it, and let's get business moving for you and for me. I love it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, really. I mean, I'm definitely thinking of some plugging you into some of my coaching networks and stuff. So
All
love
right,
to
brother.
share. Yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
Mark.
Okay. I'll talk to you
Thank
Friday
you so
morning.
much, man. All right, looking forward to it. It's gonna be good.
Okay,
Talk
Ryan.
to you later, bro.
Have a great
Bye.
day. See ya.
You too, man.